You're looking live at Bryant-Denny Stadium, live from the WVUA Tower camera, where the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Louisiana State Bayou Bengals are all tied up at 6 in a battle of defenses and field goals. But earlier, thousands of fans packed onto the Walk of Champions to see the team roll up and head to the stadium for the big game. Many calling this the biggest Walk of Champions they've ever seen. Good evening, I'm Matt McCoy. The battle of the century is still being fought at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Right now, the Crimson Tide and the Bayou Bengals are all tied up at 6. It's been a game of defense with Alabama's special teams lacking on the field. WVUA's John Huddleston will have more on the Tide later in home team sports. Now, early this morning, the crew from ESPN's Game Day had fans cheering. Some fans lined up as early as 3 a.m. to get a spot to watch Chris Fowler, Desmond Howard, Aaron Andrews, Kurt Herbstreit, and Lee Corso analyze the games that made up today's college football schedule. On a disappointing note, Corso did choose LSU this morning by putting Mike the Tiger's head on. Even after the game day had packed up and gone, fans covered the University of Alabama campus. Some Bama fans brought a party to the quad and weren't afraid to show off their dancing skills. Other Alabama fans thought to lay out some tiger traps, while one Bama built a robotic tailgate. It seems the iconic matchup has brought over 200,000 fans to the Druid City. Now, fans told us this is truly an experience not to be missed.
This is an amazing atmosphere. We're getting ready for the LSU-Alabama game. People are here with food and music. It's like a big block party. It's open to the community. It's a really community atmosphere. I'm so excited.
I feel like we fully taking advantage of this weekend. You know, it's the game of the century, so I feel like why not do it bigger than we never done it, you know?
I got on the airplane at 11 o'clock Thursday night and flew all night and all day to get to Atlanta to come here and watch the Tigers and the Tide tie up.
We know that, Roll Tide, we know that this will be something we'll be thinking about for 10, 20, 30 years from now, where we all got together and be together. So I brought all of them. I got Jared, Claire, and Brad with us. We're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Seem to be coming from all over. Well, today's game brought home some former players as well, including former star running back Shaun Alexander. Alexander played at the Capstone during the late 90s and today returned to UA to sign copies of his book, Touchdown Alexander, which talks about Alexander's faith and his football career. WVUA spoke with Alexander about what inspired him to write his book.
I thought the best thing I could ever do was share people. You're on one of these steps, and everybody's life can be changed and could be better, and actually could be worse. But there's some decisions that everybody has to make, and the book's been just a fun way to challenge people and love people and give people truth, which our world doesn't have a lot today.
Now, with the hype of the game, it's no surprise Shaun Alexander wasn't the only celebrity in town. CeeLo Ward and Hank Williams Jr. were on hand for the game, with reports that Leonardo DiCaprio, Shaq, and Lil Wayne were also here. Earlier, I talked with Jimmy Westbrook from the country group Little Big Town about his trek to Tuscaloosa for the game.
I'm excited to be here and representing Bama. All my life, I've been a fan, so I had to come down. This is the only chance I've had to come to a game this year, so I'm excited to be here.
Now, LSU fans may not be the most unpopular people around Tuscaloosa this weekend, but because of the huge amount of people in town, tow truck drivers were pushed to their limits. With so many cars making the commute to T-Town, it's bound to happen. Illegal parking. Now, at this point, the city steps in. The city dispatches calls to different towing companies around town. And with each tow truck expecting to tow 10 cars each game day, spread that to every company with several drivers. Now, that number, it adds up quick. Drivers say the illegal parking poses a safety hazard for both pedestrians and first responders. Now, we'll have more on the towing around T-Town tomorrow night on WVUA News at 10. Well, earlier fans lined up to try a bowl of gumbo, but it wasn't just any gumbo. It was from the world's largest pot of gumbo. The pot weighed in at 3,710 pounds, and that weight, 750 pounds of shrimp, 400 pounds of catfish, and 200 pounds of alligator.
You know, the community has been so good and people have been so good to us. We've had some difficult times, but I think if you know about the heart of Tuscaloosa and how good people are here and everybody helping each other, and this is just another example of what happens in West Alabama and the good people that live here.
The Louisiana Gumbo Bowl raised $25,000 for Tuscaloosa tornado relief while also raising awareness for the Gulf seafood industry. Now be sure to check out our weekly replay of the Crimson Tide game this Wednesday at 7 p.m. We'll have the replay of tonight's game against the LSU Tigers right here on WVUA TV, Alabama's home team for sports. In other news, an update on the U.S. Justice Department's request for the Alabama Attorney General's office. Attorney General Luther Strange says that the U.S. Justice Department has yet to show him any legal authority that would require him to turn over school enrollment information. The Justice Department sent out letters to schools in the state requesting the names of students enrolled and of those who have withdrawn since the new immigration law took effect. This request comes after the Justice Department received numerous amounts of complaints about possible discrimination in Alabama schools. The Alabama interim superintendent sent letters to all the schools telling the schools to hold off until Strange and the U.S. Justice Department settled both of their requests. Well, it looks like the effects of last year's oil spill are wearing off down on the coast. According to the director of Gulf Shores and Orange Beach Tourism, beach attendance is expected to hit a record 5 million visitors this year. That number would also mean about $2.5 billion in visitor spending and about 45,000 new jobs. Officials say that won't know an exact number until next year, but the $237 million in lodging already spent this year has already broken the record from 2007.